Yeah. We'll call the meeting to order a little bit early, 8:57. And Ken, did you want to do a roll call?
Whiteside, Butler, Buckland, we have a quorum.
Okay, and Mr. Sullivan and Mrs. Corbett will not be able to join us today. And we have a lot to get done in 30 minutes, so I'm going to jump around the agenda a little bit. Resident comments, I don't think we are going to have any today, so we'll skip that. Authority business. Just a quick update on the meeting we had Monday. The third and final workshop. Oh, whoops, sorry, John. Did I jump ahead of you too soon?
You're good.
Okay. I want to thank Wareham TV for recording today's Wareham Redevelopment Authority meeting, Thursday, March 13th, at the Town Hall in Wareham. John Day, thank you very much to you and the Wareham media team for covering this for Wareham residents and the world. On authority business, the third and final workshop run by the WRA over at Warren's Harborview was held on Monday. It was a great turnout. I'm going to have to get you a copy of the sign-in sheet, Ms. Whiteside. Good group of people there, a few new people from other businesses. We adjourned relatively quickly because I felt like we had accomplished what we set out to do. And after we adjourned, the group didn't disperse. The group stayed there. They started talking about ways to continue with event planning in Wareham Village and take on other projects, perhaps that will make Wareham better. So it was great to see that group coalescing. In fact, they agreed to meet again in a few weeks' time, and I think we can claim some success in trying to get some momentum when it comes to revitalizing Wareham Village with events planning. So I want to thank everybody that participated in helping that happen. Ken, Connor, Mrs. Whiteside, thank you. Mrs. Whiteside, did you have anything to add?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And the Oyster Festival, it looks like it's on for May 24th. And I understand Ms. Lorna Brunel has had a series of meetings with the police chief, fire chief. She's got everything ready to go. And how many vendors? Do you have any idea, Ms. Whiteside?
120.
120 vendors, okay.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's going to be,
That's
going to be a
an
lot of bustling
That's an event.
down by Bessie Park. Okay. Next item, update, discussion of possible vote on Wareham Coastal Access Study, Railroad Crossing Pathway, Fishing Pier and Kayak Launch. I made copies of some exhibits that we used at the update yesterday. Ken Buckland and I zoomed in with two of the Halverson tie and bond reps, and they gave us an update. What I would like to call to your attention, Mrs. Whiteside, Ken has seen this, is the project schedule. Probably the biggest item is that in early April, we envision a series of 2 meetings. The first of those will be with interested parties other than the Redevelopment Authority, learning more about what is in the design phases right now with this project. And we would envision organizations like the Conservation Commission being invited to that, members of the Planning Board, and others, as I recall, Ken. So, in fact, this is the list right here on Exhibit E.
Yeah, I just mentioned that the select board should be on that list as well too.
Right, yeah, they added the select board after we talked.
And you did, okay.
Yep. So this is on track. We realize the timeline's a little bit compressed because we have to complete this project, or the study has to be completed and delivered to us by the end of June. I think Halverson's done a great job, Ty and Bond have done a great job in trying to keep this on track. Probably the biggest highlight of the meeting was that the railroad crossing feasibility is really the long pole in the tent. They are working with another consultant, Bench, that has extensive experience with rail and has contacts with the folks in Mass DOT and the Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities, Rail Transit Safety people. And they will be talking to them and providing them with some notional designs for a railroad crossing. We talked about what would be ideal, and as they provide for us a phased concept plan for building out the boardwalk, the fishing pier, the kayak launch, and they've taken on board a lot of the public comments we got, you know, providing for access to crabbing, things like that. As we start to develop that and refine that, we thought we might actually ask for 3 railroad crossings for pedestrian safety and to allow for an actual bike path that could extend down Marion Road, across Main Street, across a railroad crossing, down by the Joe Sorrow property, where the Bluefoot Cafe is located, and then all the way down to the old train depot. So that sounds ambitious, but I think their planning is sound, and we'll know more about what might be feasible after the discussions with the Mass DOT people. Anything, Ken, that I forgot?
No, only that it probably takes some time with the DOT Railroad Division to get to an answer. So there's a lot of time put in there, but there's some question marks on the schedule about trying to meet that deadline.
Right.
So that may come in later in the process.
And you'll note, Ms. Whiteside, that one of the things we have on here is a public meeting sometime around mid-June. So that's one of the things that we'll be aiming for before the final report comes out.
When you say we, who's we?
We, the WRA. Any other discussion? Okay, I'd like to jump to the update.
Well, how many people actually showed up for this?
For this update?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was me, Ken, Sean Reagan, and Lauren Butts.
Was any public person there, any other entities there?
No, it was just an update and a temperature check with us, the WRA.
But wasn't it a public?
This was not a public
Oh,
meeting.
it was not a public one?
No.
Okay.
No.
Technical update.
Okay.
Next item, I'm going to jump over a couple of things. We'll go right to the update on the WRA internship program. This is a program we, the WRA, authorized quite some while ago, about 18 months ago, Ken?
Yeah. So,
And I think so far we've had some pretty good success with this. Our first intern, Jared Fredrickson, did a fine job. Our second intern, Connor Walden, is it?
Close.
Alden?
Wareham and Alden together.
Connor Alden. Connor's doing a great job for us as well. We envisioned this being at least a couple interns at the same time when we first authorized it. Connor is a graduate intern, and we would like to try to get an undergraduate or a high school student here in Wareham that might be on the way to college as another intern. So that's what we'll be trying to do. So I think, Connie, you're going to be trying to reinvigorate the outreach to try to get the word out. Ken, anything to add in terms of what you expect out of the interns? They'll be working for you.
well, we had a lot of time spent trying to find interns, and luckily we landed on Connor and Jared before him. But there have been a few applicants for the position, so I think the outreach is kind of important as to how you spread the word.
Yeah, I guess my question there would just be what the process should look like for job postings. It wouldn't need to be posted on the board downstairs or to MMA or anything like that, right? I'm just wondering where exactly, other than the Discover Wareham website and Indeed, public places like that, where should we?
I think we talked to HR about that.
Okay.
Okay, why don't you do that, follow up with HR. Again, this is a stipend, it's not really a paid job so much as it is a paid internship. These stipends are intended to help current students or aspiring college or graduate students continue their studies and their education in areas that matter to us in the redevelopment authority. So I think, I saw a job description that you crafted, Connor, that I thought caught pretty well. The things we're looking for, students that are interested in business, economics, finance, urban planning, environmental studies.
Project management related.
Project management, and I think those are the things that I've seen you and Ken spend a lot of time on. So if we can find a young student, college student or a high school student aspiring to college, then I'd like to get them into the program if we can.
Okay, when we discussed this before, it was college or graduate student, and I don't want to make a decision about a high school student without a full board here.
Okay.
It was not clear on this agenda that we would be talking about high school students. I know that you've mentioned high school, you did at the, the workshop meeting and stuff. In fact, there were a couple of kids there.
Did we say college bound?
No,
No, we didn't, we
Well,
didn't,
we
we said
originally-
college.
they were
You said
college, they were undergraduate and graduate. I remember
are
that
you-
specifically.
That's
You
right.
don't oppose expanding it though to high school kids?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what it is that a high school student could do that a college student couldn't do better. In other words, I don't want to, I would, personally, I'd rather have somebody who grew up and flew from the nest. And got into the real world. Because when you graduate from high school, high school is nice. Everybody loves you and everybody takes care of you. The minute you go out the front door. And the DECA students in Wareham High School have done a nice job for, since Cliff Sylvia started the program 100 years ago. It wasn't 100 years ago, it was a long, long time ago. But I don't want to focus only on them. I want it advertised in the same places that we had it advertised to get you or Jared. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I don't want to focus, I don't want to aim at high school students. That's what I do not want.
But you don't see a problem with broadening the aperture to include graduate
I
students?
don't know. I have to think about it.
Undergraduates,
I may.
postgraduate,
Oh, yeah, I mean,
PhDs?
yeah, if anybody's foolish enough
High
to
school
work for
kid.
that kind of money, yeah, at that level, then, then they're working 17 jobs to pay their bills, but. High school students are kids, and they are exploring. Do we want somebody exploring, or do we want somebody who has a little bit more focus? That would be my concern.
Okay.
And
Ken,
having
your
taught in the
thoughts?
school system, I can tell you that there's a lot of exploring, and virtually, I know of 2 kids who went through the DECA program who ended up in business administration, nobody else.
I did have high school kids working for me as well too before, and they weren't as productive as,
Yeah, they're not.
as
They were not,
the two that,
they require a little bit more mentoring, perhaps?
oh,
They
I'm
spend a
more
lot
mentioned-
of time doing
Okay.
this. They spend a lot of time doing this. No, it's true. So I'm very wary of that. I think it's a great idea to involve students,
Mhm.
but I don't feel like paying somebody that you have to watch every 5 minutes. And that's what you do with high school students. Sorry.
Right,
Been there, done that.
Okay.
But I would rather have the full board discuss it before we make a decision.
Okay. We can put this off to the next meeting, which is next week, for a decision on expanding the aperture. And I'll advertise my position right now. I see no reason not to open the aperture. I've seen some exceptional high school students that would run rings around a lot of college kids I knew when I was in college, and that have drive, that have determination, certainly could use the support, the money, to afford college. And I think if we found the right person, we should try desperately to recruit them to be interns, whether they be a high school kid, college kid, or a graduate student. We've had good luck. I mean, we have a case in point with Connor and with Jared. We really got lucky.
Both of them came on their own through others' channels.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we found them through guerrilla marketing, I guess. But Connor's gonna be fixing that. You're gonna be talking to HR, we're gonna get something out on Discover Wareham. Connor, I think you're the best spokesperson for this program if you can get the word out as to what the benefit might be to the individual that might be interested in becoming an intern, and what the benefit to the WRA would be if we get the right person. And I think you would be able to discern who would be a good candidate. So we probably ought to figure out as part of the process how we pick from multiple potential candidates, because if we do a good job of getting the word out and we get 10 applicants, well, we can't hire 10 interns. So we'll have to figure out how to winnow that down in a fair fashion to the one or two that we might want to bring on board.
Is that something that we would do during a WRA meeting, or?
I think we ought to come, if we're going to come next week to talk about this and vote on expanding the aperture to allow for a second intern, that we ought to, at that same time, probably vote on the process.
Okay.
So would you mind putting together a proposed process for
Yeah, sure.
getting the word out? And then discerning and deciding on who should receive the award, because a stipend is an award.
Mm-hmm.
So we would be deciding on an award for somebody that would then work with you and for Ken on projects that matter to us, the WRA. Does that sound fair, Judith?
The question is, how much longer do we have you, Connor?
I'm not sure how much is left in the newer budget, because I think that I had already, we had already run
spent the
through
first one.
$5,000, right?
Yeah, and we're on the second.
Yeah,
So
we're
where are we on the
batch.
second?
We're
We're close.
yeah, we are at this point.
Yeah, so I think we have to go, I think we actually have to go back, I think we have to step back one and look at the internship program and what has it brought to the table. Because it's money. And what are we spending our money on and what are we getting with that money?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, do you throw a Connor out, say, okay, Connor, this is great, you've done a great job? You know, is there a
Time
limit?
for the next person.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that Connor has been an outstanding addition. And what do we learn from having him do it that we didn't learn from the previous person? And what do we want it to look like in the future? And I think that's a conversation that you really have to answer. Or maybe you and Josh, but, you know, what is it that the intern is going to be doing? How much more of this does WRA need?
Mm-hmm.
WRA, not your other hats.
Right.
So so I'm backing up and being the banker. What do you want to spend?
So you are asking for what we have on the agenda here, an update on the internship program. So
Yes,
where have we been?
yep.
What have we achieved?
How
With this
much money
program.
do we have left? You know, what are,
We're at about 8,200 we've spent on him at this point, and
so we're close. So how much longer are we gonna have him? And do we want to keep him? Do we want to, there are all sorts of questions that go with this,
Okay.
to me.
Ken, let's make that a highlight of next week's agenda, then we'll get a good overview, if you don't mind, and your recommendation on, I'll call it phase 2 of what was a fledgling
Right.
WRA internship program, which I think.
Exactly, and that's part of my point, is it was a fledgling program. We learned a lot from the first one and, you know, have gotten a lot from this one.
right.
Right. All right,
Is our
Ken,
next
do you mind if I
meeting,
sign you up to that then for next week?
No, it's fine, yeah.
Okay.
is next week the one that we do the later meeting?
Yep, we start at 11, Hudson comes on at noon. So we'll go from 11 to 1. Oh, excuse me, 10 to
No, I
10 to
thought it
noon,
was
sorry.
10 to,
10 to noon, 10 to 11.
yeah, 10 to 11 is
regular
us, and then
business.
11, yeah,
11
okay.
will be Hudson.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right, Ken,
Thank you.
we're gonna drop that topic in your lap for next week. I'd like to get a discussion and a vote on a letter that I'd like to send to the superintendent of public schools in Wareham. Ms. Whiteside, you've seen it. Ken, It's to commend the superintendent and his staff for the good work of the DECA team at Wareham. They had good success at the States in Boston. 13 of the Wareham Vikings are going on to the DECA International Career Development Conference next month in Orlando, Florida. And these are students that are studying things that matter to us and hopefully will matter to the town of Wareham. Any concerns with that letter, Ken?
No, it was fine.
Okay. Judith?
No, it's a good blah blah letter.
All right, all in favor of the blah blah letter? Oh wait, I need a motion.
Big motion.
Yeah, and move to authorize the chair to send a letter of congratulations to
Okay.
Becca.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. 3-0. Okay, thank you.
That's
How-
what they're known as.
How we doing for time? Oh, good. We got plenty of time. Did we want to dive into the discussion of possible vote on WRA sponsorship of a vacant building registration fee and fines bylaw article?
It's for
No.
fall town meeting now,
That's fall town meeting.
not spring.
Yeah. Remember, we moved it, there's no time to get it done, and the
Yep.
last meeting, we said it was gonna be in the fall.
All right, fall town meeting, and probably we definitely need Derek and Sarah here for
Yeah,
that, I think.
absolutely, cannot
Okay, so
be.
we'll push that to our next meeting?
And make sure that you write that it's fall town meeting.
Yep, I got that changed right here. Update on Tremont Nail Factory development opportunities. Ken, do we have anything in that?
Yeah, we have two opportunities. Apparently, there's been some recent interest in what's going on at the Tremont Nail Factory, either the steel building, which has been rehabbed, refurbished, or the freight building, which is the one on the river that we had the Meet Me at Tremont events.
Oh, that'd be neat. Interest, like serious interest?
Yeah, serious interest in putting in something that fits in the building, which is pretty much anything at all at this point. So I think that this may be a time to reissue an RFP to get proposals in.
Kind of divorce it from the master developer agreement that we had? No, that we do have, I guess?
Well, that's sort of, I don't think that has fallen away.
Okay. So complement
The
that.
last input I got was that they weren't as interested in doing it because they had other projects that they have on their list.
So this might be a way of salvaging, a partial victory in terms of redeveloping the Tremont Nail Factory.
Well-
Two buildings that are viable.
Well, it's the phased approach that we had talked about originally in the visioning that Union Studios had done for us.
Okay.
It was, the steel building was originally proposed to be a marijuana production facility. And then it was proposed to be torn down and replaced with residential units on the property. But we had $1.5 million that was spent on refurbishing the building. It was paid for by the marijuana business. So we have a relatively good structure. And
But it's not being used for anything right now?
it's not being used for anything right now except storage of,
Municipal maintenance equipment,
yeah.
we're using it as a storage shed.
So it's a storage shed. Any rent? Are we getting rent on it?
No rent.
From-
It's
It's our municipal maintenance department.
the select board has control over the Tremont Nail Factory.
Right. That would make a great pickleplex. We could probably get about 8 or 10 quotes of that.
So we can put out an RFP and say that's one of the options available to
I
see
think
what we
that,
get.
can I get over there and take a look at that place? I'd like to see the potential.
Sure.
I'm serious. You want to come, Judith?
No, I've been in it several times. I know one of the people, I think, because they reached out to me and Derek about what might be an attractive use.
Right,
Um,
local business
Local business, correct.
that wants to expand into
That
that
wants to
building.
expand into that building and take advantage of the wonderful Riverside,
Ambiance, yeah.
venue, so,
And this is serious? This is like, no kidding?
Yeah,
not
this
just a
is a no
looky-loo?
kidding.
This is not a
Yeah,
looky-loo. This is-
and there's another one that's come forward as well too.
yeah, so,
Oh, okay, well, that sounds encouraging.
So this is probably a time when we recommend to the select board that they go ahead with an RFP at this point, and
Is that
see
something
what the
you don't have
proposals
that on
would
your
be.
agenda yet, Judith?
no, because I haven't met with the individual who reached out to me and Derek yesterday or the day before, I don't remember. Sometime this week.
Huh. All right, well, that's encouraging.
so we have a report on that maybe next time.
Okay.
In point of fact, it was me who sort of suggested that somebody go talk to this business and say, hey, how about this? Would this be a great idea? Oh, yeah, it was a great idea.
You should be commended. I'm gonna,
no.
luckily I have a letter of commendation.
Oh, no, I have
It'll
little
be
gold
easy to-
stars. I have gold stars.
I can easily do some blah blah just to commend you.
Have you ever read The Tipping Point?
Yes, I have, as a matter of fact.
And you know which category I'm in?
Which one? I
I'm a
hesitate to
connector.
say. Oh, okay.
This is the Malcolm Gladwell book, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, if this turns into something, that'd be great. And Ken, thanks. If you could just plan on giving us another update in a week's time when we have our next meeting.
All
that'd be
right,
great.
well, actually, if you're having a meeting with,
Yeah, see, I don't know. I have to wait on Derek. It's been, we're in getting ready for town meeting, we're in budget time, we're in,
yeah, crunch
either he
time,
has no time or I have no time, so.
right.
Okay.
But the individual has actually walked the property and looked at it, and it's not, oh, this is cute. This is a real interest.
Okay. Because that freight building, as nice as it is, it's fallen down.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
needs some work. I was
Needs a
just
better
over there.
foundation
I was
for
just
it.
over there 3 days ago. Okay, Ken, thanks. I think too, the Massachusetts Vacant Storefront Program, we're gonna ask for an update on that. I guess my concern is, are we ready to put in the application for the grant? Do you know?
Which
I
one?
would say that the materials are all together based on all of the documents and research from the state.
You're talking about this
program.
one? The
And the
storefront?
Yeah.
Yeah,
storefront,
because I
vacant
gave you the letter yesterday.
So last week, we worked on the edits that we had talked about on the WRA. I made those edits in the document, and there were some finishing touches, which would have been the letter of recommendation from the town's elected official, which we have now. And they also wanted to see a map with the vacant storefronts clearly marked out, which I used I'm not sure what it's called, the ACGIS maps.
Oh, our new GIS software.
ArcGIS.
Yeah.
But I used that and included it in the document and just put targets on the empty storefronts
Okay.
so that it's clear just from someone looking at an area view where those would be.
So we're ready to submit.
Yeah, we're ready to submit in short.
Wow.
That's good.
So who pulls the trigger on that? Does Derek sign that grant application?
He can,
Or do you sign it?
I could.
All right. Sounds like you're ready. And the only reason I'm pushing on it is because as the WRA chair, I'm starting to talk this up. And
Well,
we did talk about it on
it's-
Monday.
It's not due until June
Right.
30th,
Mhm.
and the decision doesn't happen until October.
Exactly.
So we've got some time before it,
Okay. Is there a reason to wait?
No,
Okay,
I don't think so. I mean, I think we get in and get in line,
Yeah,
right.
because,
there are earlier meetings, so they could discuss it and approve it, but I think that,
And
like
hold
you
off.
said it,
Yeah.
the actual credits come through starting in October.
right,
right, now we can put in an expression of interest actually right now.
yeah.
And just to show
I thought we had
our
done
interest
that.
in it.
I thought we had already put in the expression of
I was
interest.
wondering if we had or
I
not.
think you
Yeah,
had.
Did
we had, and
Yeah,
I think
you already
that's
did.
what spurred us to get
To go-
everything together.
All
for the
right,
program.
all right, yeah.
So I
So-
think that we can apply earlier, we just, I'm not sure if we would get the favorable response before October.
Doesn't
No, we
matter.
won't.
But we get in line,
Right.
and then we nag.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's what we had to do with that park grant, was just keep going back and back and back.
That's right.
I move that we authorize Ken to move forward, to apply for the
Is that
vacant
us?
storefront program.
Okay, is that ours to do, or?
Yeah,
Yes.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we have a motion from Judith Whiteside. Do I hear a second?
second.
Ken Buckland. Okay, we are moving to authorize Ken to move forward with the application to the state on the Wareham Redevelopment Authority's request for a grant for the Wareham storefront revitalization strategy, applying to participate in Massachusetts Vacant Storefronts Program, MVSP. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
This is to the one-stop program.
Through the One Stop program. Okay. Thank you, Ken. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, Ken, we have 2 more minutes of your time before you have to go to the Finance Committee meeting. Do you have anything else to report?
Not at this time.
Judith? I have nothing new.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
Oh, no, you know, I was actually gonna speak about the opportunity that Ken had already spoken about.
Okay, great. Thank you. Member comments, new initiatives. Judith, any new initiatives that you haven't already talked about? Ken?
No.
Okay. I only have one comment, Ken. It's not on the agenda, but the GAF study for dumpster consolidation. Okay, I'll come back to you. Have they completed that study?
No, they haven't.
Have they started that study?
Not really.
Is there any reason why we should even pay for a study that hasn't been started?
We don't pay until it's
We're not
done.
paying for it.
It's free?
Until they actually produce something.
Do we need it?
Yes.
It's taken 6 months to not get started.
It took 8 years to build a playground.
Should we talk to GAF about why they're not starting on the contract that they won under the RFP that we sent them?
No,
No?
they have been stepping in and helping us out on every single thing that we have an emergency on. I would not mess with the relationship we have with them, which we've had with them for years.
Okay. So you're satisfied that we have a contract with an engineering firm to do a dumpster study to
That they
improve
will-
Merchants Way, and they haven't started on it in over 6 months?
Well, maybe they have, maybe they haven't.
As far as we know, they haven't started on it.
They haven't
Well-
delivered it,
Yeah, nothing's been delivered at this point.
but there was no delivery date on the contract either.
There wasn't? We didn't have a delivery date?
I was,
Are you saying there was no delivery date on the contract?
I don't believe so.
That would surprise me.
Yeah, that would surprise me too.
I don't know. It's Derek's,
There
again,
gets the procurement officer is in
yeah.
charge of that.
So I would just leave it lie right now.
You know, I know you would like to, but I don't want to. I think that's so important. We spend a lot of time on dumpster consolidation, cleaning up
Well, let me
Merchants
talk
Way,
to,
sprucing it up.
to
Ask
Bill
Derek.
Madden and
Okay, let's find out where we are with that.
So let me go back. The Open Space Committee sent a draft out yesterday and they're looking for comments. Did they send it to you guys?
no.
Open Space Committee.
All right, I'm gonna send it to WRA, I'm gonna send it out. They're looking, the Open Space Committee has to, under the law, create an open space plan every 10 years. They have to update it. They're a little bit overdue.
I think it's 7 years actually.
Or 7 years, and they're a little bit overdue on this one, actually. And unless we have that in place, we cannot apply for some of the grants that we are in line for right now. So it's really important that this draft get looked at.
Is it contentious, in your view?
No.
No, it's not, but
Okay.
there's some things that probably would have said a little differently. It's, you know, it's an assessment of what we have and where we think we are going with it. So I think it's important that certainly you guys and
Yeah.
WRA have an opportunity to look at it, so I'll forward it to.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you for calling that to our attention. I'll
And
just
there's
look
a
at it.
very short deadline.
To comment?
Yeah.
Okay, how
But-
short? Like days, weeks?
No, it's like maybe 3 weeks or something, it's,
Okay.
because they have to have it by, I can't even remember, maybe 6 weeks.
If you could send that out today,
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
put
send
that
it
on the
today.
agenda for next
Yeah.
week. And
Okay.
then we can, if we, the WRA, have collectively a comment we'd like to make, we can vote on that then.
But it's also just individual comments, so.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. Correspondence, Ken, anything else?
No correspondence, I don't see the minutes, so.
Right, I didn't print out the prior minutes, so we'll save that for next week.
For
And-
next week, you need to have the workshop minutes as well as,
Right.
yeah, so you'll
last
have
Monday's.
3 sets.
Oh, yeah, that's right, today's meeting too. 3 sets of minutes, all right.
Well, no, you have 2 from prior workshops that we didn't,
So
we approved those?
Yeah, we did,
Okay,
at the last meeting.
all right.
Just quickly, before everyone gets up, I also found a service provider for downtown dollars. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it before, but it's called Yifty,
What's it called?
Yeah, I looked up EFT before.
Yeah.
right?
ESP?
I feel like that would be a good
Why?
fit for us, and they're kind of, they're really oriented around community cards more so than like a restricted credit card. So I did a little bit of research on the service and other comparable ones.
So let's put that on the agenda for next, he has to go,
Okay,
yeah. So
But I think
can we
that's a
put
good
that
one
on?
for us.
Yeah, I think that would be
Yeah,
good.
do that.
Okay, update next meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Do I have a
Second.
second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned at
9:34.
9, what time is it?
34 hours.
Oh, what's my phone doing here? 9:34.
Thank you. Sorry, he has to.
that's fine. I have a meeting with them at 3 o'clock.